Oh hey, it's Wes, and we are continuing our 50mm approximate lens parade here. Let's move some of these full-frame lenses out of the way. We're going to be looking at APS-C, because today we are checking out the TTartisan 56 1.8. Also on the table, we have the Viltrox 56 1.7, pretty similar. We also have the Brighton Star 50 1.4. So let's dig in. TTartisan has a long history of making very impressive, cheap manual focus lenses, but more recently, they started making autofocus lenses. How is that transition going to go? Let's find out. We're going to go through various elements to thoroughly review this lens, starting with build quality, handling and usability, image quality, image character, and value. So first of all, the build quality. It's a very interesting little lens. It comes with a back cap that is a mini USB docking station for firmware updates. I have mixed feelings about this. Other manufacturers are, of course, including the USB port on the mount itself, but this has a very narrow mount on it. So there's really no room for the USB port. There's also no weather sealing gaskets or anything like that. This lens seems to be part metal, part plastic. Feels great in the hand. Focus ring feels phenomenal. When you squeeze it, it only tightens up a little bit, so that's great. And it comes with this very cool retro style lens hood. Oh, that is awesome. And it snaps on oh so nicely. Feels so nice. That's fantastic. Unfortunately, you can't really put the lens cap on in conjunction with the lens hood, so it's kind of one or the other. Very light, very nice fit and finish, just no weather sealing. I'm going to give that an 8.5 out of 10 for build quality. Moving on to handling and usability. As you can see, it is a little bit larger than the Viltrox Air Series lens, a little bit heavier as well. Similarly, it has no buttons, no switches. Feels much nicer in the hand. The focus ring works much better than on the Viltrox, which has a very cheap feel to it. As far as usability goes, again, we don't have a USB port in the lens, but in the base. And the question is, like, am I supposed to always use this base as the back cap? I'd rather not. I would rather use another back cap, in which case, oh, that doesn't fit very well. Okay, some of these fit, some of these latch, some of these don't. I don't really want to be slamming this very large back cap on this all the time. It's kind of wiggly wobbly. I don't know. Mixed feelings there. Again, no buttons or switches for easy access, focus, manual focus. I did have some odd occasional issues with the IBIS and getting like shake introduced into my images at 1/200th, 1/250th of a second, and I couldn't reproduce it. It just happened from time to time. So I don't know if there's some issue communicating between the lens and the camera body. I just cannot figure out why that was happening. Not always happening, just happens sometimes. I don't know if it was actually a thing or not, because again, I can't reproduce it. So overall, for handling and usability, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. It's a little bit on the large size compared to the competition, and again, has no buttons, but overall is very tight and compact. Image quality. This is very sharp, but not necessarily the sharpest. I think that the Viltrox all around is slightly sharper. Wide open though, perfectly good, perfectly usable. It's not in any way a soft or weak lens. Stop down, it's very good. Chromatic aberration is incredibly well controlled. These new low-cost lenses are doing fantastic with their optical designs these days. Flare resistance and wash resistance is surprisingly good, and that's like without the lens hood. It really resists flaring and washing quite well compared to a lot of lower cost lenses. Color reproduction is good, but not great. So for image quality, altogether I'm going to give that an 8.25 out of 10. Very impressive. Image character. This has shockingly perfect bokeh for this price point. It is smooth, it is round, like you just cannot find a fault in it. Backgrounds are buttery smooth because of that very smooth round bokeh pattern. Around the edges it kind of goes D-shape and it gets that D shape a little bit closer to the center than I would like. Doesn't really cat's eye as much. I would rather have a cat's eye than a D because it gives you a bit of a swirl, a bit of a focus on the character in the middle. But overall, the bokeh itself is just phenomenal. You see a little bit of CA in the bokeh sometimes, but not much. Let's have a look at the sun stars here. Not half bad. I really like the flare wash as well. Very interesting, slightly cinematic. That's nice. So for image character, once again, I'm gonna give it an 8.25 out of 10. Very good, but not great. Moving on to focus performance. In here we see, once again, we have another third-party lens that can really get the job done. It has fantastic use of IAF, face AF, tracking, all that works great. Focus points go all the way to the edge. It works at different apertures, which a lot of the older third-party lenses just never did. Unfortunately though, it's just a little bit on the slow side. These lens elements are probably pretty lightweight, but unfortunately, it's just a little slow. So fantastic reliability and usability for the autofocus, just a little bit slow. So that's coming in at 8.5 out of 10. Moving on to value. And here we see a winning combination. This is 130 US dollars. That is really surprising. For comparison, the original Yongnuo 51.8 is $120. A little bit less, not like a shockingly modern lens. It has some issues. The 51.8 Mark II from Yongnuo is a very good lens. That's $135. Faster autofocus, comparable image quality, quite a bit smaller I think. I have that here somewhere, but I'm not sure where I put it. There is of course the Viltrox Air for $180. So percentage-wise, that's quite a bit more money, but it is smaller and I consider it to be optically a little bit better. However, the bokeh isn't as nice as on the TTartisan. There is our Brighten Star, oh, that is heavier, 51.4. That is $210. Got a little more light come into this aperture here. The autofocus is no better. Wide open, honestly, it's worse than the TTartisan, but once you stop it down, it's very nice. But yeah, optically, it's not any better. You just get a little bit more light, honestly. There is the Sony 51.8 for APS-C for $350. Nobody should, do not buy that. It's worse in every way than any of these lenses that we're looking at here. The price is terrible. There is the Sony 51.8 Plastic Fantastic for $250. But speaking of full frame lenses, there is this very cheap Mikey 51.8. Optically, not nearly as good as the TTartisan. And it is a chonky beast. It's a big lens. You do have an AF/MF switch though, so that's something. I don't know why this lens is so big. You would think that maybe it's a DSLR lens, it's just extended for mirrorless, but it's not. You have an element right at the back here. It's a curved element, so it's not just a piece of glass. I don't understand. Nice price point though. So for value, I'm gonna give this a 9.75 out of 10. There is a cheaper Yongnuo lens. It's not an obvious buy though. It's just a tiny bit cheaper and it's not as good as this. Overall, that gives us, wow, an 85%. Fantastic. That slots it into the chart in amongst the top of the Viltrox Air lenses. Very good lens, very aggressive price point. It is fantastic these days what you can get for a lot less money for lenses. If you are an APS-C or just starting out, it is so much easier now. Well, in some ways it's harder because you have so many options. It used to be you just bought the cheap 50 from the lens from the camera manufacturer, but that's not the case anymore. We have so many 50mm options now that you can just go to town and get something that really suits you, suits your price point, suits the look that you want to achieve, because it's not all just about sharpness, it's about character, it's about quality, it's about interest. If you are interested in this 56 1.8 from TTartisan, there's a link down in the description below that will help support this channel and feed my fat cats. Until next time. Let's go take some photos.